only.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back, Nerd Mob. It's me, Nerd Mafia, and our steady, casual, regular guest, T-Rev, here with the knowledge. And tonight we're going to break down the finale of Invincible. I left that speckle there just for you. But, anyway, here's the plan. We're going to break down the episode basically segment by segment to the best of our ability. And are you still in the middle of the episode, Daniel Fisher? Ruining me. All right. We're going to do that, and Daniel Fisher can come back, check this out on the replay. It's only 45 minutes, so we should still be around. And full advisory, as you can see in the bottom of the screen here, it's spoiler alert time for the show. I'm going to try to reel back Trev if he gets too deep with the comics, but I know most of what happens too, but we're going to try not to ruin it for anybody. If you hadn't read the books before, we'll stick to the script. Maybe we'll point out some differences without going into too much detail, right? But we'll try to keep it classy for you. Sound good, Trev?
Sure.
Please, sir, don't sound too enthused. You're blowing me away here. Got all the energy.
Sure. I'll do the best I can to limit my expression of knowledge.
All right. God, I'm dying. All right. Well, you know what? Overall, how'd you feel after this episode? Without going.
Pretty good. It was everything that I expected it to be. Everything that I wanted it to be, quite frankly. I think I might have mentioned this briefly a couple days ago on the Daredevil thing, just when we were kind of talking about it a little bit. This was a big moment for me.
Yeah. In
comic books. Like, this was like this 4-issue arc with Conquest, like I said, I think it's 61, 62, 63, 64, and Invincible. It's like this fight was one of the most amazing sequences of fights that you've ever seen in comic books, because it's like Marvel and DC don't, maybe they do a little bit now, but back in like the 2008 2009 era, they weren't doing violence the way Invincible did violence.
Right.
Like, Marvel and DC were like, prior to, like, they don't even really do it now. They don't do violence the way this does violence. And again, violence is a big selling point for, I think, for a certain segment of the population that likes this genre, right? So,
no, honestly, like, just popping into the show for the first time in season 1, not knowing anything about it, just like that shock factor when all of a sudden you got this old school Canadian animation and you just see like guys' heads getting ripped off, like Omni-Man after he just destroys the Guardians. I'm like, what the hell is? I like it. Hey.
Yeah,
kind of similar to The Boys. I mean, obviously, totally different story. But...
Yeah, well, yeah. So The Boys and Invincible were kind of coming out around the same time, both with an evil Superman archetype, right? That's what Omni-Man is. That's what a Homelander is, right? So when I was trying to sell this comic book, not like sell it to my friends and everything else, like back like a decade ago, I would always say it's a mixture of like Superman and Dragon Ball Z. That's how because it's like the Viltrumites are very much like the Saiyans, like the Kryptonians, like whatever. It's like they're, like it's like the alien superhuman race kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So, but they're more like the Saiyans though, because they're conquering worlds.
Yeah.
Right? And that's like kind of what the Saiyans were doing, right? And so like, and I've just always kind of, to me, it's always been like, Mark's like a stand-in for Superboy or Gohan kind of thing, right? Like, and this is just
a little bit tough.
DBZ plus Superman plus blood and violence.
Mark's more like the Guardian of Earth, though. So it's like, well,
yeah, he's very much, but he's a Gohan type character.
Yeah,
like he's like a Superboy type character, right?
Mm-hmm.
The son of Superman, the son of Goku, the son of whatever.
I think the really fun part about this episode in particular, and like even like last week's for me, like knowing what I know beyond like what's on the screen, it's just we're seeing like Mark and Eve and even Oliver to an extent, just starting to tap into the potential of what they actually are. You know, like
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
and like you said, spoiler: Adam Eve makes a big leap here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But let's I mean, with that being said, let's just dive right in, take a look at what we got here.
sure.
Damn, is that blocking too much of it? That's why I was doing it this way. Hold on. All right. I'm cutting off a little bit of your beard here. I think you'll be all right though, for the sake of the picture being in here. So we start off the episode right, kind of right where we left off from the past week's episode, and Mark's pissed. Oh, this just happened to him. He's like, all right, let's go. So, I mean, it's hard to see on the screen, but this is just the best shot I thought I could get where they just meet like fist to fist. Click on it here. And doesn't end up so well for Mark right off the bat. As you can see, they do kind of like a sonic boom right in the middle of the city. That explosion was kind of like insane. Just watching like the collateral damage to the surrounding around it. And I think getting to what you're saying, beyond even just the violence too, like this show just does like a really good job of like showing you what kind of impact this would have to just like regular people.
I agree. You know? Like this fight is very reminiscent of the Nolan Mark fight from season 1. And but amped up, right? Probably amped up about 2x, 3x, you know what I mean? Like it's amped up, the damage is that much more. And it's like when you watch Man of Steel, for example, like taking it back a decade, you watch Man of Steel, you see the violence that happens in that, and like I think like this is where kind of like Zack Snyder probably got his inspiration for the violence in Man of Steel, like for the fight for Zod versus Superman, because you don't see Zod versus Superman fights like that in comic books. You see it like this, like you see it in Invincible. You know what I mean? So like,
absolutely,
like it's this fight, like you can't even imagine, like you said, the collateral damage of this fight. I don't even want to like it's. How many people died? Was it 1,500 people that died in the Mark versus Mark versus his dad? I believe it was 1,500.
What did they call it? Like they call it something like Battle. They didn't call it Battle New York. They call it something.
It's Chicago. It's Chicago, isn't it?
Chicago.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it happens in Chicago. But I'm pretty sure it's 1,500 people that died during that fight.
It was around there.
And so, and saying that, and right away in the middle of this fight, you have buildings toppling. So those buildings they're not evacuated. So I mean, I don't even want to know how many people died in this fight.
Where they start, at least, though, and honestly, around the globe, a lot of the populated cities were already kind of destroyed and being rebuilt. So,
because that's true. That's because of the previous episode.
Yeah, because you can see some. I mean, we start getting into the more populated places that haven't been destroyed as we keep going.
Like I think does this happen about a week after last week's episode, or like Conquest arrives like a week after the Invincible War, I think.
Yeah, so in the show, it happens about a week after, and I guess in the comic books, though, it's only like a couple days after.
Well, it's close enough, though. Like, you know what I mean? It's not where it's that much different.
Yeah. They definitely make it like specific in that way, though.
Well, they make it like it's like he's running a gauntlet, right? Like it's he's being put through the ringer.
All right, and then basically, so Conquest shows up here, and to go off that parallel too, you'll start noticing in the top right corner, I started like labeling the pictures to remind myself what we were getting at. And I actually had one. It's funny. I had one that said like parallel. But Conquest shows up, and this dude is he loves this. This guy's a sadistic fuck, basically. But he's basically telling Mark right off the bat, he's like, you know, I'm not Anessa. I'm not going to come here and talk to you. I'm here for one reason only. This is about to go down, right? And they're right back up and at it again. Mark gets his blows in. And every time you think Mark's actually about to like get the upper hand early on, it's not going to happen.
Conquest shows that he's just toying with him, essentially.
Yeah. Yep.
That's exactly what he's showing him, that he's just toying with him. And the line is right now, Anissa would be telling you about how the Viltrum Empire would turn this planet into a utopia.
That's it. Yep.
She'd tell you you're a fool to try and prevent this. Well, that we would be helping the people you believe you're protecting from us. I will not tell you any such thing. The truth is, I want you to resist. I'm not here because I want to spread the Viltrum Empire. I'm not here because I believe in one cause or the other, or that I'm fulfilling some kind of honorable duty. I'm here because I enjoy this.
Yeah.
That's his fucking line. Like, that's his...
Insane. And a lot of this, like that included, are taken right out of the comic books, like word for word. So they're doing an awesome job with the show. But
yeah.
So basically right here where Mark makes this hit, like not far soon after this, they end up like kind of going right up into the atmosphere, into space. And then we just get this weird ass moment where he takes like blood from his mouth and makes a heart out of it, like a frozen.
And it freezes, right? Like as it's freezing, he forms it into a heart. And
I'm like,
that part isn't in the comics. Like they do go into space.
Yeah.
But he doesn't do that. He doesn't make a little heart thing in the comic book. That's a little addition. I don't understand. It's interesting that they added that. They just want to show. I don't know what they wanted to show there necessarily. Just him having the playful side of him, like that he's just kind of playing with him.
I honestly wonder if like the illustrators weren't just having fun. Like they're like, look how nuts this would be. Like, then they just got to prove that, you know what? That's crazy enough to throw it in. And then I had to take a picture of this because this image is like just in my brain now after seeing this.
Peak. Look how crazy he looks there, right?
Yeah, it's like what do we got here? Like this guy's nuts. So anyway,
it's a nice touch again that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is voicing it, and I think he does a good job.
Because it's revenge.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's like Negan versus Glenn, and it's Kirkman again. Kirkman owns Walking Dead. He owns Invincible, so he knows what he's doing when he casted Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Conquest. Like he knows what he's doing specifically, right? Like he's saying this is Glenn's chance to like kill Negan, basically. Like it's like a reverse thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah. Right after the heart-shaped herb in space. Basically, crazy-ass smiling Conquest starts plummeting Mark like down into Earth. It's looking like he's going to like slam him into the ground like a meteor. And immediately when I'm watching this, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, can this dude even survive that? Mark finds a way to kind of like struggle back, wriggle out of it. Like Mark's showing you he has the potential to fight him. Like with all his might, he's just
like Mark has shown improvement over the course of the season. Like I think even last episode they said something like he's shown 135% improvement or something. That's what Robot says that, or Donald might have said it, right?
Yeah, and then it's all going back to that theme too. They're trying to show you that like he needs to just unleash, like, and not.
Yeah, he needs to keep going to make himself better, right? Like the more as he uses his powers, just like Dragon Ball Z, he gets more power, right? Like that's the whole thing.
I think of it like Spider-Man, like how strong Spider-Man actually is if he doesn't pull his punches. And
yeah, they say Spider-Man is like one of the, because like when he's a kid, Spider-Man is incredibly strong, and when he's an adult, his power is even that much more, right?
Yeah, and then like the clip that keeps popping through my mind when I think about like the struggle of Mark to just like fully hit somebody as hard, like that's how you have to fight if you're fighting with Viltrumite. Is like just in No Way Home when Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is just like, at some point I just stopped pulling my punches. The people got hurt.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I think it ties in this nice. But anyway, so they get to the point where Mark struggles away, is able to just like break off from basically falling into Earth like a meteor, and he's like, I believe the line is like, "You sure this is going to go well for you?" And I know you'll correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm pretty sure that line was right.
I just passed over that line. I was looking at the comic book.
Yeah.
If that is all the strength you possess, this is not going to end well for you.
Oh, that's what Mark says?
No, that's what Conquest says.
Oh, okay. But Mark starts it by saying, "You sure this is going to..." I know that line. That was definitely in the show, too.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of lines from most of the lines from the show are directly from the comic book,
which is awesome.
Like they're not really. It's like they're literally just like animating the comic book, which is awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But it's not. They're not really making a lot of changes. I don't know who the credited writers are.
Yeah. But
they probably shouldn't be getting paid that much, in my opinion. Honestly, it's just like Kirkman should probably just be taking like I'm hoping Kirkman gets most of the money for this episode anyway, because it's like there wasn't a lot of changes. It's kind of basically panel for panel, shot for shot. Is like this is that 3 to 3.5 issue run in the comic books.
I mean, they are making like the right subtle changes though that improve the story, almost like we'll get to it. I'll point one out.
Okay, keep going. Sure.
So yeah, like I said, every time you think Mark's stepping up, Conquest just slams him right back.
Okay, see, now stop right there. Let me show you something.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Okay. So you see that right there?
Yep.
Now look at the panel you just showed me, right?
Yep, perfect.
It's actually better in the comic book.
It is. I'm halfway wondering if I'm going to get in trouble for some of the stuff we put up on screen, but I'm going to do it anyway. So super bloody content.
Yeah, but yeah, like that's again, it's like panel for panel. Like they're animating the comic, and it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. All right, so where are we at next? Cool. All right, so then in the midst of this, they eventually obviously tumble back down to Earth. Oliver sees it on the news, and he's like, "Oh crap, let's go." Not so fast.
So this is where something's different. So in the comic books,
that's what I was going to say.
In the comic books, you know who Debbie's dating?
I know it, and I don't know. I can't remember. It's like on tip of my...
It's Art, the guy who makes Invincible's costume, the guy voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh wow.
She's dating him in the comic books.
References I'm missing too. It's making me mad.
Like the guy that makes Invincible's costume and Kid Omni-Man's and like Oliver's costume, he's the one dating Debbie in the comic books.
See, like that's an interesting change too.
Yeah, they did change that aspect of it.
I feel like it makes more sense though, for it to just be like more of a random guy than like the suit maker. But
well, the suit maker was really close friends with Nolan, right? Like, so Art is really close friends with Nolan, and I think he was really close friends with the family.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of like the dad's best friend kind of. So you know what I mean? Kind of like the dad's gone and the dad's best friend kind of steps in, right?
Wonder if they tricked Hamill into taking that role. Barely gets any time.
Yeah.
So Debbie stops him, right? And you think she's going to be like, "No, you can't go." And then she just comes to realize she's like, she just kind of coaches him. You know, like she's like, "Listen, like this guy's strong. Keep distance where you can. Don't let him grab a hold of you." And it's like, but you got to do what you got to do.
That's also expanded from the comic books. The comic books just says
he just takes off, right? Like
he just takes off. She says, "Don't go," and he just takes off.
Which I think that subtle change, great change.
So the whole thing about like the big change of this whole show is that they expanded Debbie's character. The whole show, like not just they wanted to make because Sandra Oh is the voice of Debbie, I think, right? The actress Sandra Oh, Canadian by the way, but she
hey,
just throwing that out there. But yeah, the whole big change of the show is essentially based around her character.
Gotcha. All right, so. Next, we get to the point where Mark's actually just like, he's at the point where he's like, "All right, we need to stop. Let's try to talk this out." And Conquest isn't having any of that. He basically, I think you're pulling it up probably right now because that's line for line.
I have right here. Goes, stop, listen to me, just listen. Are you crazy? You think I'm gonna give you a chance to surrender so that I have to stop? Have I given you any indication that I want to quit? I'm having the time of my life.
I didn't even like put these together thinking you would have this ready, but in the back of my mind, maybe I did. As soon as you whipped that out backstage, I'm like, whoa, I whipped out the comic book backstage. I was like, oh, this is perfect. All right, so
and the look on his face in some of these panels is fucking crazy. It's great too. Oh, yeah. The comic panels are great.
Oliver finally arrives. He's kind of trailing them for a minute. Pops up just in time to like give Mark a chance. Mark's kind of, as soon as he sees them, he's like, get out of here. Like, you're not going to survive this, basically, you know? And then we get a quick cut back to Cecil, and he's kind of like trying to rush these new updated
the Invincible clone, the variant Invincible zombie kind of things or whatever. Why can't I think what their names are right now?
Same with me. But I mean, we know the whole the important detail of this is, remember they say in the last episode there's 18 of these multidimensional Invincibles, and they take out 10 of them. There's only about 8 left, right, by the end of it. And some of these guys they used were actually effective in killing them, but now they're spliced with Invincible gene. Although they weren't as strong as Mark, it's probably because on their world they had like little to no resistance. And Mark, rather than taking their route,
and a lot of them, their dad didn't die, right? A lot of them they sided with their dad, so they didn't have to fight Nolan. So a big difference between these ones and the other ones is that these ones didn't fight Nolan. Our Mark fought Nolan.
Yeah, and he's basically taken the Rocky route too. He's like, all right, I got to train, I got to get stronger than I should be just to be able to handle this. So basically, Sinclair ends up telling him, like, look, we're not even ready for a trial run yet. You know, we got to keep at it. And Cecil's just frustrated. And then we cut to Eve in the hospital. This is where we find out she's been out for like a week when talking to her mother. But she wakes up, and I think just in time to see Mark on the news and see what's happening. And right now, she's arguing with her mother about, like, I got to go help him. And then her interesting thing to me, too, was like, and you can tell me if this is that way in the comic books too. Like, her parents don't know Mark's invincible, or if they even.
Exact same way. This is like again, I can show it to you if you want me to show it to you. It's the exact same.
Yeah, save that for the better parts. But all right, so then we.
This is how issue 63 opens up with that scene with Eve and her family in the hospital.
Gotcha.
That's how issue 63 opens, and her like getting up, changing into her costume, watching Mark getting hurt on the television in the hospital room, her saying, I gotta go help, my God, Mark. He's gonna kill him. I have to help him. Mark, you mean your boyfriend? Crap.
Yeah. And then the dad's just like bitching and moaning about it. It's like, dude, like, you just don't get it.
The dad's a super asshole throughout the whole run of the comic books. Like, and that's saying that's her adoptive father, right? Not her biological father.
Right. Yeah. Well, both of them, right? Yeah.
Yeah. They both are. Yeah.
All right. So we cut back to Mark and Oliver, and Oliver's like, "Look, this guy's old. Like, we could take him." And basically, that doesn't end up so well for Oliver.
So
scene,
again, that exact scene, also in that exact scene and that exact speech. Also in the comic book.
Because this is nuts. Like, just him describing like what's about to happen to him as it's happening. Like,
okay, so let me 1 second here.
Yeah. I was gonna talk about this too, but you got it in front of you. It's perfect.
Yeah. So you see that?
Nuts. But he's just like, he's talking about the fact, he's like, you feel your body stretching.
Do you feel your body starting to rip apart? It starts with your vertebrae separating. Then you'll feel your muscles starting to stretch. Then if you're able to focus through the pain, you'll feel your skin pulling to its breaking point. This is going to be amazing. And then Mark's rushing in. No.
Yeah.
See him break Oliver's arm here too.
Yeah, that's nuts.
punch Oliver in the face super bad.
Yeah, I skipped over that. I was trying.
Again, the first page right here though. Eat one, you old sack of turds.
So I tried. I definitely got some explicit stuff in here from this episode, but I'm trying to walk that line without getting it taken down or whatnot. So we just skip over to what happens to Ollie eventually, and that's Cecil coming in to get him a meta back. Meta teleportation back, I guess. But then right after that, Cecil gets a call basically saying that Eve is ready to go. Right? And everybody's trying to talk her out of it. But she's like, and they're like, Eve, you can't even walk. And she's like, do I look like I need to walk? She didn't actually lose her leg during that fight though, right? This is just like a cast.
No, remember her leg was massively broken, right? Like one of the Invincible variants snapped her leg the same way they snap bone. Like she's just a human, right? So
yeah. At first when I saw that, I'm like, wait, what? Because those cybernetic casts they had on her. Wild.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we get back to the fight with Mark and Conquest, and Mark is just getting put through it. And this is the point at which you can see I wrote parallel up in the top right. I kind of got into it like this picture right in the middle of it. He takes him down. It almost looks like Miami and just shields him through humans left and right the same exact way that Nolan was doing it right before
on the subway, right?
Yeah.
The subway train, yeah.
Yeah, and you're just seeing basically how far Nolan's come as a Viltrumite that Conquest is basically attacking it the same way, but obviously Nolan it's his son, he let up at the end. Conquest doesn't care. So right after Mark kills a ton of people, even takes a kid's arm off, Eve shows up and she's actually holding her own in this battle for a minute. It's taking basically all that she's got for now for her to be able to stay in the fight. But she's doing she densifies the air so he can't fly, but you start seeing her huffing and puffing, trying to keep up. And Conquest sees that too in the battle. And unfortunately, boom. She gets lit up.
That?
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Go to your next panel. That's going to be the arc shot through the chest, right?
No. I didn't go that far. I was worried even about this a little bit. All right, get it off. We're gonna lose the stream. All right, and then I think I just cut to her on the ground. So at this point now, Mark is thinking she's
there
dying.
like that.
Yeah, Mark thinks she's dying, basically. And
yeah.
Conquest is just sitting above, taunting him. And the Viltrumites kind of remind me of what was the Superman when the Kryptonians, the three of them, show up to
Zod, Ursa, and in Superman 2?
Yeah, I'm thinking the old school. Yeah.
Zod, Ursa, and Non. Yeah.
That's the exact vibe I get from the Viltrumites. Not gonna lie there.
Well, like I said, I get Vegeta and the other one when they first come to Earth.
So
what's Vegeta's buddy there? I can't. The one that Goku kills first.
Asking the wrong guy, man.
Well, actually, he didn't kill him. Vegeta kills him. He beat him though, but I can't think of his name right now. Not Raditz. Raditz was his brother. The other one, Vegeta and Nappa. Potato. Nappa.
Raditz.
No, Raditz was Goku's brother. Nappa's the one I'm thinking of.
All right. So he's taunting him from above. He even says at one point, he's like, if you have any last words, you might as well say them now. And then I didn't get it here, but they cut to her hand. Her hand just stopped moving. So obviously she can't even talk with her jaw the way it is. And we're at the point now. Once he sees that, Mark's you see the tears dripping down his face. Mark's he's about to go full on berserker mode and just kind of unleash what he can actually do. Right? Here we go. This might be frame for frame, all this too.
Well, here, like, look at this line from here. This is right after that, right before he goes berserker mode.
Mm-hmm.
I should do this now. Don't know when I'll get this chance again. I want to thank you, Mark Grayson, Invincible. Really, from the bottom of my heart. It's not very often that I get to cut loose like this. I mean, really cut loose, like I have here. Usually there's so many mission parameters. Don't destroy this. Keep this person alive. But not here, not with this planet. For whatever reason, I don't really care. Why, to be honest? I was told, take control no matter what it takes. Take control of the planet. So whatever you did to piss us off, thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah, so Mark just... This next scene is like one of the most badass things Mark does. He goes at him knowing like he breaks his hand, destroying his metal arm, and just goes through it. Like,
yeah, there's
right
a big
arm
splash page right here.
Yep, right arm gone now for Mark. He can't punch with that one anymore. It's not like a boxer getting a broken arm that gets numb. It's just limp, like hanging off bone.
Yeah, Daniel. I'm just gonna say, Daniel. This issue is there. This episode is basically frame for frame the same as the comic books.
Yeah. And then, but again, just like the whole fight's been going, Mark starts to get the upper hand, and Conquest just comes right back at him until looks over his shoulder, and Eve is now unlocking her potential. And we'll talk about towards the end how she's able to do that.
See how he bites him here too. That's just that happens in the episode, right?
Yeah, Tyson's him. Oh man, they really got it. Like they nailed it. So
yeah,
Eve's
like see,
unlocked. She's just reformed all of her flesh, and then she just pulls an Iron Man move right out the chest, and just like you see it. I did put it all up here. Right after that blast, this dude is like basically like like no flesh left. Like it's just all muscle and blood. Like she just lit him up. But immediately after, she just kind of passes out. And again, we'll get into reasons why, like towards the end of this too. This enables Mark to come at him with his left, but he's still got some strength left in the old Conquest there. Something you could talk about a little bit too is the fact that Viltrumites, even though Conquest is old, Viltrumites get stronger as they get older.
They get stronger. They get stronger as they fight more. And so, you got to think what Conquest line is that Conquest has been going from planet to planet, destroying things. And not every single Viltrumite does that, but he does. So that's why he's considered like the strongest of the Viltrumites.
Daniel Fisher's only question: could Eve rearrange Conquest's arm, or is there too much organic tissue? We'll get into that after because we're going to talk a little bit more about her powers, and why. We'll get into it. Yeah. So now Mark's got no right. He's got no left. At this point, Conquest is on the ground too. Mark's he giving a barrage of punches to his head, and Conquest catches his fist. So Mark goes to the head. And at this point, he just headbutts him to death. And again, I'm really trying not to show too much here, or I'm going to get clipped. And basically, he just headbutts him till he's dead.
Yeah.
And then we get Mark just.
And it's a big splash. It's a big splash page in the comic books with very gruesome.
Yeah.
Buried everything.
Exactly. It's not that often you go too far for YouTube with like cartoons, but this is a exception. Mark crawls over to Eve, and I think at one point she says, "Why am I naked?" And I'm like, no complaints here. But
right and she goes to, also right in the comics, "Am I naked?" And right at that moment is when Cecil and the rest of the group kind of phase in.
And they're just like, what the hell happened here? Like, let me see. This might be for you. So Pilchmite comparison to Scion. Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I said, like this, Daniel, this is how I tried to sell it to people. This was Dragon Ball Z meets Superman. Like it's exact like they do fights the way Dragon Ball does fights, but better. And again, and even when the show first started airing, like a lot of people in our community, Daniel, and you know what I'm talking about when I say our community, but this is what I was selling it to them as well. Like I was trying to say to them, this is Dragon Ball amped up, the violence amped up, very similar. Like again, this is, and yeah, right. Like, sorry, I was just kind of addressing Daniel in the chat there, but yeah,
No,
like
no, you're good.
That's what I was trying to say.
You're good. You're good. Yeah. So then we cut back to Cecil again. He's just like, you're seeing him become more and more desperate. Like, oh my, holy crap! Like one of these guys showed up, and it took this much to take him out. Obviously, the other marks were weaker than our mark, but he's really trying to put the pressure on Sinclair to get this program going. Sinclair's like, it's not ready, man. Like, we're doing all we can. We're having to make new tools just to be able to create the things we need to do for this. And that's kind of like giving you the preview for next season. Right after that, we cut to Rex's funeral. I didn't take a lot of pictures here. I mean, there are some important like aspects of it, like Robot or can't think of his actual name, but
Rudy.
Yep. He decides
he changes his name to Rex in this scene though to honor Rex because he's in a cloned body of Rex, right? So
yeah. We get a little scene where like Eve gets up and just says Rex was her first everything. There's a touchy moment between her and Mark where he just starts laughing when she's talking, and she's like, "I'm just happy you're alive." You know, that's pretty much just the funeral, unless you can think of anything else that was important in there that I'm overlooking. That's it, right?
Nope. After this, they have the moment with Angstrom Levy and those tech guys. They have the moment. So go back to that scene right there. No, go back. So that's when she changes his costume and puts it on the floor folded. But it's showing again. This is a scene right out of the comic books as well.
Yep. Actually, this is where we could talk about this too. Actually,
but yeah. So her powers. So she's gone over the mental hurdle of being able to affect organic material. So she has mental blocks put in when she's a kid, and they talk about that I think in the Adam Eve two-parter as well, right? Like the Adam Eve special.
Yeah, I don't remember. They definitely talked about it here, but I didn't remember.
But this is showing that her powers aren't stable, right? Her powers, like when she does something right with this kind of stuff, her powers are losing the stability they usually have, because like that should not be happening to his costume, right?
Well, yeah, and I mean they're also getting busy, so that's
yeah, but
but yeah, that's what that caught me at first. I get in the comic books, I know the one you got there. There's actually a little plant that pops up too.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't want to spoil anything too for people who are going to read the books or.
Well, no, but I'm saying you wanted to see the little plant that pops up there. It is.
No, I thought that I had. I almost wonder if like the plant like popping up there is like her like them like creating life basically, like because they're having sex while this is happening. You know.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Yeah, I never thought about that aspect of it, but yeah. Then the next page is Angstrom Levy. So I imagine this goes right to Angstrom Levy in the thing here too.
Yeah, well, we're getting. I think that's the next one I got. But we also like they're wrapping up. They're tying up all the loose ends here.
Oh, Battle Beast, yeah, because Battle Beast was left out in space. That's not really addressed in this set of comic books. Actually, that's a little added extra that Battle Beast is kind of found here. I think that's done about maybe like 3 or 4 or 5 issues from here. I think that's shown.
Yeah, and in the show he gets picked up by like drifters. It looked like pretty much. But basically, you can see the remains of the Viltrumite he fought behind him.
Yeah.
Then we go to Angstrom Levy. I'm not totally sure where this is going, to be honest with you, and I'll catch up on that. Like the spoiler part, I'll catch up where that is going. But they say here in the show that they have plans for him, and he says they want a new world or something. But they say something like it's going to be magical, or you're reading it now, so
yeah. They're talking to him exactly that they want, like they want the. So Angstrom Levy, you have witnessed firsthand what our ambitions have done to our world. We have borne witness to what we have had to do to ourselves in order to survive here. what makes you think we would want to stay here? And that is only the beginning of what we require from you.
Right.
And then it cuts to the rat, and the
oh damn! Did I not get a picture of that one? You can talk about that one actually.
Yeah, so it's cutting to the Martian, the squid things. I can't think what they're called again. Is it squid?
It's another kind of subplot that they always seem to.
Yeah, so it's like the Martian, it's basically like Starro, like it's like Starro, like the DC character Starro.
Yeah.
Right, that takes over, like the big starfish. That's essentially what these are in Invincible, right?
Yeah,
and then it cuts to this, and it cuts to.
Yep, that's what I got next.
Yep. So cuts to Cecil talking with.
And this is another difference from the show and the comic book too, though, because in the show I think Mark says to burn the body, right? In the books, he doesn't care. He just says whatever.
Let's see. He's dead. He just goes, he's dead. He's really dead. Yeah. And then he just drops it. He's dead.
Fisher says. That's what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, you can see and Cecil here in the show, he's saying he wants to know. They're basically talking about reviving his head, and they want to know all the secrets of the Viltrum.
That's not just his head. That's his whole body wrapped up in there.
Oh damn! All right, my bad.
It's his whole body wrapped up in the whole thing. Like they didn't his head didn't come off, right? And you can see his head's already healing a bit, and everything else too. Like it's
wild, which is a really dumb move. And yeah, let's leave it at that. Then we get a scene where Mark's talking to Oliver in the hospital, right? And you know what? You can read it. I think it's the same here too.
Yeah, it's the exact same. It cuts right to again. This episode is very much exactly like the comic book.
Yeah,
and it's basically just saying Mark's not going to pull his punches, right? I won't hesitate to kill them. That's essentially what this whole thing is, right? Like he's saying that he's realizing that he needs to not pull his punches because they're going to come back and they're going to cause more damage.
Yep. But he even goes farther. It's just in saying
sequence. Yeah, there you go.
You're right about Angstrom Levy. You're right about the Mahler twins. Somebody's threatening my family. It's time to die. This is the part that's not actually like a story in the same way in this comic. From what I understand, we've got like a mixture of like different characters and plots from other books that this character's in. And I'm talking about Dark Blood. If you remember, we got him back in the first season, and he reveals that he keeps investigating, and he finds out that Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe. And Cecil's like, I told you to stop investigating because I'm trying to figure out why, and I don't need that brought to light right now. So he basically banishes him to hell. And that's the last time I think we see it. Is that the way it plays out in the comic book too, though?
No, you don't really get into a lot of the demon Dark Blood. Like,
I don't think he banishes him or anything. He just
I don't believe Cecil is. Yeah.
But here we got him. So we got him talking about. We got him talking to basically like this overlord here, and talking about how he has somebody with a blackened heart.
It sounds like this guy to me seems like a banished Lord of Hell or something, like a banished demon, like a Azazel or something like that, like something like akin to that, right? But he's been banished from hell, right? And he's looking at like someone. I think like Dark Blood says he has a body that you can possess, essentially, right?
I thought he was talking about somebody alive. He said somebody with a blackened heart. Like it almost to me, I thought he was talking about Mark, but I don't know if that's just a red.
I don't know if it's specifically Mark or it might be Nolan too.
But Nolan's not even on Earth. That's the weird part.
That doesn't mean he's not aware of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I don't even know what he's doing with his pentagram. I have no idea what's happening here. this kind of just like this got me thinking.
I don't have a lot of insight into this part, but like, again, to me, it seems like this is like a banished demon that Darkblood is saying. I would assume so as well, Daniel. But Darkblood is saying that he has a vessel ready for him to use to come back, kind of thing, right? That was my kind of take on it. I'm not a.
Yeah.
I've only watched the episode once this afternoon, so I should rewatch this part.
There's another little like weird subplot that's not in the comics at all too, with this mummy that we keep cutting to like once a season, and he's trying to possess somebody as well, and it's like
like in the last episode, in the last episode there was the tourists and the mummy's trying to and
every time it comes up you almost forget about it because they do it like once a season, and the woman there he possessed like last season, I think, just out of nowhere, and you're like, what's happening right now?
I can't remember if that pays. If there's any kind of payoff like that in the comic books or anything to do with that. I can't remember specifically. I'd have to.
From what I understand, it's just show specific, and it's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to do here.
Well, it's probably going to be something that pays off stupidly, I would imagine, for the mummy character. He's probably going to finally get his power, and then Mark is just probably going to come in and one punch him out or something like that, right? Like it's going to be.
Is this one look
or maybe more. Who knows? I don't know. But that's my take on that.
Yeah. No idea, man. But the episode, like you're saying too, that was a wild ride. Like when I first saw that it was 45 minutes, I like immediately checked. I'm like, oh man, that's it. But they packed so much into this one episode. It's like I'm really excited for like what's to come next. Like it's like I felt like that right after the Invincible invasion too.
I have a feeling that the next season is probably going to be slow again. There'll be some fights, but it won't be. I have a feeling like it's going to kind of go back and forth like that. Like it'll be like a down season, and then an amped up violent season, a down season, an amped up violence. Like I think it's kind of. I have a feeling that that's how it's going to go.
The one thing that
not to say that people won't like it, but like I'm just saying it won't be. I have a feeling there'll be a lot more like introspective stuff and like What
do you think? This one or this one? This one or this one? Yeah, we'll show the whole beard. All right. The one thing I wish they got to, and maybe they said enough, is getting to the Nolan and Alan the Alien, like Pox. There's a lot in the future that deals with that subplot. Maybe they're just they gave us a big reveal already when Nolan said there was only 50 Viltrumites.
Yeah, because the Scourge. Because spoiler, there's something called the Scourge virus that wiped out a lot of the Viltrumites.
Yeah, and
the Viltrumites are super long lived though, right? So they're thousands of years old.
Yeah, but that once you get into the reading, like that part of the story starts getting really, really, really interesting. Would that being the case, that kind of gives me hope it won't be so slow next season. But there is one main thing I think we talked about off screen yesterday that might make it slow. There might be some emotional stuff going on after that. So you never know. Did he do one? Remember he had those books?
About the Scourge virus? He wrote a book about like the gun that the Cosmic Ghost Rider, Cosmic Ghost Rider, what's his name? Why can't I think of her name right now? Or his name.
I'm terrible.
He writes about a lot of he might write about the Scourge virus, but he writes about a lot of things that hurt Viltrumites anyway, right? So
yeah. And then this is what we were talking about a minute ago too. It starts getting really interesting. It's basically the show gets more cosmic, probably as we go.
Like this guy right here in his gun, if you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
He writes a story about this guy.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, they needed this big comeback after last season too. I mean, I didn't think last season was awful. I think what hurt it a lot.
I think it was just slower. I think it was just more of a slower paced season and not as much action.
That break in between really didn't help it either. It just kind of
maybe.
This show came out like killing it when that first season dropped, and then to give us like 4 episodes and then like a 2-month break, it was like, come on, dude. You know, that combined with the season being a little bit slower. But if you look back at the first season too, it wasn't this action packed. I don't think, was it?
Well, the Nolan fight versus the Guardians. The fight versus the aliens that are on a different timeline than us, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to think right now. Really, like, is this season better than the first season?
I would say so.
Does it match like as many fights though? Like,
I'm still here. I'm just putting this book back in its case. Don't mind me.
Yeah, you're good. I wonder though, like, there was definitely a whole lot going on in the first season. I might give it the edge just because it was like I was still discovering all this stuff in the first season. And I would
say I would give this. I would give this season probably like a 8.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, somewhere in there.
What you give season 1?
About the same, and season 2 probably like a 7.5.
You think the first season though was like culture changing almost though?
No, but I knew this. So the moment I heard that Seth Rogen was developing this, like I knew it was coming. You know what I mean? Like same with when he started developing The Boys. I'm on the other. Like I'm on. Like I know this is new to a lot of people, like this violence and everything, but this is stuff that was happening in comics 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like I knew about it. This is the kind of stuff that people love to read 20 years ago. Like 2003, 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like 15 to 20 years ago, I guess, right? Like so like and it's good that it's finally being adapted. But like it didn't change anything for me because I knew the story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so it wasn't as big like it's the same thing like with like when Watchmen was adapted by Snyder in 2009. I knew the story. That story happened in like 1986 or something, 1985. You know what I mean? Like it's but yeah, like so if you were super into comics, and not to say that like a lot of our newer fans aren't, but like it's like it takes a lot to get into comics. It's an expensive hobby. In some cases, it seems cheap, but it can be really expensive if you collect and everything else, right? So,
I've definitely been into them, but I was never into like the offshoot brands. Like it was like DC or Marvel, or I wasn't.
Yeah.
Really looking. Maybe with the exception.
I hear you.
Spawn or
I hear you.
Stuff like that. So this just wasn't on my radar at all, and it came out like right after I got out of high school too. So that's where I probably took a little dive away from comic books and.
Yeah, I hear you.
Pay attention as much.
Yeah, I mean, you're living your life, you start drinking, partying, having a good time, right? Like I get it.
Yeah, because you think like most of the stuff we're watching now that's mainstream is stuff I loved when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and it's good that it's finally that a lot of stuff is finally being faithfully adapted, right? Like a lot of stuff hasn't. Well, the whole thing is that a lot like Infinity Gauntlet, like Infinity War, and all that kind of like the Infinity Saga, like so many people read that in the 90s. Like it's not even like so many people wanted Thanos to be given justice. Like and this was the first time that he was given justice and things like so you know what I mean? Like it's a lot of the people that were it's just so we're let down when and it's sad to see when we're let down by certain things because it's things we wanted to see, you know, like for 30 years. A lot of fans, right? And a lot of the newer fans, like the younger kids, like my son, for example, is 18. He's not that big a fan, but he likes Spider-Man. He likes all those things, but he doesn't care about it the way I care about it, right? Like, you know, I think a lot of because you got to think comics were never bigger than they were in the 90s.
Yeah.
Okay, so like they're not like,
everywhere.
Comics in the 90s were selling like like 5 million, 7 million, 8 million copies. Like X-Men number one sold.
I wasn't even buying them at comic book shops either. It'd be at like
you're buying them at grocery because they were much more. They were sold in grocery stores, bookstores, like on spinner racks, right? Like they were way more. What I want to say? Well, they were way more out there anyway. Like they're way more available, right? So
higher circulating.
Yeah, and there was way more printed copies of them, right? Like I said, like they were printing way more copies, and now it's just like
a niche market. Like
so when Infinity Gauntlet came out the same time as X-Men number one, which sold 8 million copies. So I can only imagine Infinity Gauntlet probably sold over 2 million, 3 million copies, right? So think about how many people wanted to read that or wanted to see that adapted properly compared to like when you see some of the newer arcs, like for example, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars that they are allegedly adapting. That wasn't read at nearly the amount Infinity Gauntlet was read.
Right.
Like the original Secret Wars was also read way more than Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars, like the 1984 Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Right. Like so. Like you got to think like that's what
the world's just
go ahead
now too. There's just way more options. It's like kind of comparing like TV ratings when there was like 3 channels to now.
Yeah. Right. Like Look again. There's so many options now. Like it's weird that when we look at numbers, no one really talks about the context of that, what you're just talking about there, that like there's so much more content that people are watching between YouTube, streaming, and everything else that like compared to like when we look back at like 50 million people watched the last episode of Seinfeld or whatever the fuck it was, like in 1998.
Yeah.
Right? Like or like you know what I mean? Like I think it was something like that. Whereas you have like it might have been 100 million people. I don't remember off the top of my head, but like, and then you like now big numbers are something like maybe like 20 million is like a gigantic show. 20 million is a gigantic show.
Well, they're saying even
right?
for, wasn't the big news about Daredevil, like the viewership was only like 7.5 million viewers or something like that?
Yeah, but saying that, but you know what? That's probably more than what was watched on Netflix. You got to think about that, right? Netflix was a smaller thing then. In 2015, Netflix didn't have 250 million subscribers. Netflix probably had like 70 million subscribers.
Yeah.
And someone actually brought up data on one of the Discords I'm in that it's something like only they average about 4.4 million people watch the first season of Daredevil.
Damn.
So it's less than watched, but because there was less streaming content then in 2015, right? Because Netflix was the only game in town basically in 2015, right? As I recall.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because Disney Plus wasn't a thing until 2019.
It was Netflix or HBO was a big thing, so I was watching.
But there wasn't HBO Max. It was like there was HBO Go, I think, or something, right? Maybe around then.
Oh yeah, I just mean as far as like my go-to like channels,
So like, it's hard. I think the way we evaluate shows now, if we're comparing them to past numbers, it's a flawed premise.
Yeah.
And again, no one knows what the internal services want, what they expect, what they view as a success, right? So like when we don't know what, for example, for the Daredevil numbers, when people say like, well, it's only, more people watch the first episode of The Acolyte. Okay. But what does Disney Plus or Marvel, what were their goals and expectations of Daredevil? What are Amazon's goals and expectations of Invincible?
Yeah, true.
Do we know that? We don't know that. We don't know what qualifies as a success for them. We know what qualifies as a success in the pundits' eyes, like the YouTube punditry, that's however they interpret the data. For example, someone like Josh at the Den of Nerds, someone like Ryan Aries at Screen, whatever, what is it, Screen Crush?
Yeah.
Like we don't know, like when they interpret data, again, and you're getting their data from like the Hollywood Reporter or Luminate or Nielsen numbers, which again are just Nielsen numbers have never been 100% accurate. They've always just been a reflection of like we're going to take 10,000 people or something like that, and of those 10,000 homes, actually 10,000 houses, this is how many of those houses watch that as a percentage, and we're going to extrapolate that to the population of the USA, for example, or of the world.
Yeah,
that's how they did their numbers, right? It's not like a, but now with streaming, the actual streamers have the actual numbers for all these things. They don't release them. We have third party companies guessing or extrapolating how many people watch this for how long, based on what.
They're doing like basically nerd sports comparisons for athletes, but with shows.
Yeah, but like it's like again, we don't. It's all just extrapolation and educated guessing.
Pretty much, man.
You know, so it's not necessarily. There's probably like big margins, like plus minus margins that they're not telling us. So you know,
It's got to be pound for pound though. The best comic book adaptation. I like anything.
Invincible, yeah.
Does anything even rival?
Wait a second. It's great because it's almost panel for panel the same. A lot of it, like a lot of it's the same, right? A lot of it is the same. Whatchamacallit? There was that New Frontier was really good too, right? I don't know if you like the Darwin Cook. I don't know if you watched that. There was the Darwin Cook miniseries called New Frontier.
Yeah.
And then they did the animated movie of it. It was really good. And all the animated movies that came out that were drawn like the comic books, like for example the Superman Batman one where they're drawn like Ed McGuinness, the way Ed McGuinness draws. It was called Public Enemies, I believe. Superman Batman Public Enemies. Very faithful adaptation. Superman Batman Supergirl, the Supergirl one where Andre Braugher voiced Darkseid, and Darkseid turned Supergirl evil. And it's drawn like Michael Turner. It's drawn like Michael Turner's artwork.
DC,
the guy who drew
a lot. I don't feel like,
but those movies were very faithful to the comic books.
Yeah.
Very, and then you had the New 52 stuff that came out. Very faithful to the comic books as well. When they started the New 52 DC animated universe,
they're just not as cool. No. What's Daniel Fisher got cooking over here? So he says, hold on. I feel like I got to get fancy to read this. Hold on. Let me see. In my view, you have a proper data-driven methodology with appropriate weighing to compare titles. Recency and other I can't see with this shit on. Recency and other biases are tough to work with. Who I think. Yeah.
I think a lot. And he's right. Like a lot of people compare.
He goes further. For example, I might look at an Untapped rating, but I take with a grain of salt compared to a rating from someone I know who has BJCP or other training in beer. I don't know what that means, but it sounds fancy.
Untapped is probably like a beer. I don't know specifically what it is, but it sounds like it's a beer rating system, right? So someone who has some kind of some kind of certification in beer. So he's saying like the website is just grading the beer, but we don't know their certification. Whereas he knows if someone has a certification, he trusts that person more than just like whatever. So and. Yeah. So the same way,
right? That
like the same way Rotten Tomatoes is, right? Like when you're reading the Rotten Tomatoes stuff,
yeah.
Like some of them are YouTube pundits who get like official critic rating, and do they really even know what the fuck they're talking about?
I honestly, I ignore that rating and I look more at the audience score. To be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, even the audience score is not. It's flawed. It's all flawed. All of our fucking things are flawed.
Well,
all of our rating systems are flawed.
If it's a lightning rod type of movie, like politically charged,
you're not
going to get a good review or get a good idea.
Yeah, but I agree.
I don't know, man. That was
I get you, Daniel. I get you.
yeah. We gotta put that up on screen.
He's taking
Yeah,
shots.
Oh, of course. I don't agree with like half of his takes, but and I'll let it be known. Josh. But
no. I mean, like I like the way he presents stuff, but like he's very hyperbolic. And saying that, he addressed that I think today in some of his stuff, that he's very hyperbolic, and he often doesn't understand when someone doesn't get his viewpoint or has a differing viewpoint.
Yeah.
He gets very charged about it, kind of thing, right? So, but it is what it is. Whatever.
We all do that for something.
Yeah, no, we all do. No, I agree. We all do that. You're not wrong. But like, he's got a bigger platform, a bigger voice. So like it just seems the way it seems. That's all.
I popped in like at one of the, I think for the Daredevil one, I popped in like right after he's done watching the episode, and I was watching the replay. One guy in the chat said something. I didn't even catch what he was talking about. And Josh's like, no, because I don't like you. And that's why. I slapped this off. I knew it was just messing with it. It was hilarious.
I think it's tough because like there's a lot of like, the more famous or infamous you become, the more there's going to be, there's going to be shitty shit talkers in the chat and everything else, right? That's just how it is. Like the moment he went on, when he started doing Nerd Theory, and we and we got a lot of people from Star Wars theories thing that joined the Nerd Vengers, they were just kind of, it got worse. But and I'm not to say that's necessary. It's not bad that they came over, but again, the bigger your crowd is, the more there's going to be more shitty people in that crowd.
I actually found Josh through Nerd Theory.
I
remember. Yeah.
I think that's a point for me, right? No,
it was. I remember it too because it was like I didn't know. Like YouTube was still kind of new to me, and I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a way to just. I think I was actually trying to find a way to bootleg the Mandalorian season 2 finale, and I stumble upon like Nerd Theory talking about it. I think they might have been doing a watch party or something, or maybe I just started seeing Star Wars Theory. And I liked watching him a lot originally just because of like the videos he made. Like all the theory videos were awesome.
Canadian.
But then I caught Nerd Theory and I'm like, I actually like this guy better than Star Wars Theory. And then I started watching stuff.
He's very again, just I think I said, but it's just like the more like Daniel said, the more there's a correlation with the subscribers and the more people that act in bad faith, that act in that are shitty, right? Or younger viewers that are just shitty, like teenagers, and you know what I mean. Like imagine if we were teenagers now, man. Like I can just you haven't been able to hear it, but my son's playing video games like through this wall right here.
You can hear it a little bit, but it's not that it wasn't a problem. I can hear it though, for sure.
Every now and then he's like, what the fuck? Or he's shit talking something, or he's whatever, and I'm just like, if I was playing online the way he plays online, like in like the 90s, like, and saying that, I was playing Madden online, I guess, like 2005, 2006, and stuff like that. But
I think the first online games I started playing were, you remember SOCOM?
SOCOM?
That was awesome, man. That was like Call of Duty before Call of Duty. And I would stay up for hours on that playing that game.
So that Special Ops Combat or something, right?
Yeah, it came out, SOCOM Navy SEALs. They came out when I was like 15 or 16, and we had no online gaming before that. And it was like,
Well, there was the Quake, like you said. There was like, I remember people in my dorm in 1999, 2000. I was in my first year of university in 99, 2000. And people had like LAN parties where they would connect all their...
Why did British and Canadian people just say university? Like, it makes me think, like, from somebody not, like someone from the US, when you say that, it makes me think, like, there's only one university in Canada.
No, so in Canada, in Canada, like university and colleges we don't consider them the same thing. you say like university is university and college is college. Like what you call trade, like community college,
Yeah.
is what we call college.
No, but like I went to Central Connecticut University, Central Connecticut State University, right? I've never referred to it as like I went to university. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so when you
okay,
when you say it like that, I'm like, is there one university in all Canada?
No, there's tons of universities. There's like, so just in my town, there's Lakehead University. Like in Windsor, there's University of Windsor.
It's just a funny like way you guys like phrase you got, and I'm like, it's always.
I think it's because we don't. Well, because like most Americans, no offense, you wouldn't even know the names of our schools. So like, it's not. It doesn't.
Have some pride. Like shout out your school once in a while. It's like, no, I don't know what university you went to. I don't know which one.
I went to the University of Windsor. Like Windsor's like a twin city with Detroit. Right? Like Windsor, like so like I went to school in Windsor, and so like it was like a party school. So like because like there's like
the equivalent is like I just say like, yeah, when I was in college. Yeah, I guess that is what you're saying before.
Yeah.
It's just funny. I don't know. Like I hear it and I'm just like, what are you talking about? Maybe that's
it's just I wouldn't say college, but I wouldn't say because university and colleges are different in Canada. It's like whereas like again, like you guys might say I went to college and you might mean a university, right? Like but if you said you went to community college, what would that mean?
Yeah, I did too, but
yeah, but I don't know. I get it, but like I'm saying, but what you guys call community college again is what we call college here. We don't call it community college. We just call it college. Yeah.
It's just a funny thing when people say it. It always throws me off. I did wonder at one point because every Canadian just says when I was at university, and I'm like, what university? Is there a university? Because every time like we say university, it's like, well, first off, we don't even say university usually. It's just like like UConn.
Yeah.
Nobody calls it University of Connecticut. It's UConn, you know?
Well, I could say I went to UW, right?
I
went to Western. I went to University. Well, I went to Ottawa. I went to there's probably about 12 or 15 universities just in the province of Ontario. I think there's probably about 40 universities in Canada, maybe 40, and then maybe like another like 100 colleges.
Daniel Fisher, whose side are you on? You live closer to me, man. 2 hours to me, like 6, 7, 8 hours, 9, 20 from him. I don't
A very un-PC game, Shadow Warrior.
Actually, I think my first online gaming, very first, was StarCraft. Love StarCraft.
Okay, yeah.
Bro, we had like 4 or 5 of my friends play. We even had girls that like wanted to date us, so they'd start playing it just to like hang out with us. It was awesome.
I played Command and Conquer.
It's similar. I didn't really get into it much, but more like
Command and Conquer was a pretty big game in like '99.
Mm-hmm. I was late to the game though. Like I didn't get my first computer. I don't think till like 01. I was like 16 when I got my first computer.
Like your own personal computer? Like my family had a computer like in like the 80s.
Nah, man, we grew up pole.
I had an Amiga.
Like I got my first computer. Like my family didn't have one. I went out and bought it. Like saved up. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't Ferris Bueller. Like nobody bought me one over a car.
I had dial-up internet in 1992, 93.
That's how it started, and then convinced my dad. He got pissed off of me playing StarCraft and him not being able to answer the phone.
Yeah, we had to get 2 lines. We had to get 2 lines at our house.
Well, I was late enough in the game where he's like, so let me call the phone company. He found out about getting a cable modem. And he's like, okay, we're gonna do this now. You do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah.
Man, those are the days.
Yeah, we had my parents. We probably got. I think I still had dial-up my first year of university, but then I got DSL my second year.
Remember, they actually used to charge you more money for your landline if you wanted to have 3-way calling, and back then they called it total phone.
Yeah, it's crazy now, right? Like nobody even wants a landline anymore most of the time. Anyway, and like it's just. Yeah, I do too.
I was just talking to somebody.
Wasn't there a 28.8 in there too, though? 28.8 too, though, Daniel? Not just 33.6, right? Was there a 28.8 and a 56? 56 was top of the line, man.
Now I got fiber coming in my house. It's like it's nuts. I was just talking to somebody at work the other day. It's like, why do we use faxes anymore? Like, what are we doing? We'll go sometimes.
Well, saying that.
Why?
How much data do you have on your phone plan?
My phone plan?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Probably not enough, but I feel like whenever I'm using my phone, I'm almost always near Wi-Fi. So that's not true.
So yeah, no, I am too. But like, I'm just thinking to myself, I pay however much a month for cable internet or / fiber internet, right? Like at my house. But if phones, like I have like 120 gigabytes data plan on my phone. So I'm just thinking to myself, I think we're going to get to a point where I'm just going to be hotspotting the internet off my phone.
Maybe.
Rather than paying for cable internet, you know what I mean? We're paying for fiber internet. You know what I mean? Like, I think we're going to get to that point where if plans are over 500 gigabytes, or even more than that, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Well, that's what why would I pay for internet if I could just hotspot off my phone?
Wait, your phone plan gets that much?
Yeah, my phone plan. I have 120 gigabytes right now on my phone. Technically, it's unlimited, but it's after 120, it's like throttled or whatever, right?
Yeah, but dude, my internet with fiber, I get 500 gigs per second, allegedly.
Yeah, but I mean, we're gonna get to a point, but but my phone's super fast too. But but we're gonna get to a point where like do I need to have both? Is what I'm saying. Like, do I need to pay for home service when I could just pay for my phone plan and hotspot?
Maybe. Actually, kind of worries me a little bit. If that much, like how strong are these radio waves that are producing the Wi-Fi? You know, like, that concerns me a little bit.
We all get cancer eventually, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the whole world all at once. Just a suit of armor around the world.
A suit of cancer around the world.
All right, I think we've officially gone off the rails.
I think we did. Good. We broke down the episode fairly well. We made some callbacks. What we think is going to happen next season, and we talked a little bit about some other stuff here. So we broke down. We got for 70 minutes. 70 minutes or 80 minutes. 80 minutes.
We don't play around. We broke this down probably better than most people broke this down. I gotta lie. Between all the visuals and the comic book references.
There you go.
You hear that, everybody? Come mess with us. Huh? You got this? Do you? All right. I'm off the rails. Let me put it that way. But
it's a good time, Rod.
I should have hit you up earlier in the season. It would have been fun to go through these episodes more often.
Sure, man.
I'm learning stuff, though. Just like with this structure, I think this is the way to go through an actual breakdown video, like when I'm following up on an episode. It helps when I don't have to do it like 1 hour after the episode comes out, though, because then this is impossible. I can't just run through that like that.
But again, this is the internet. No one's expecting that, man. Like I know some people think like you don't have to do a watch party right away. You don't have to it's the internet. Things like people are going to be able to like as long as you're within the first 24-hour period. Yeah, it's fine.
It's true.
It's fine. Like if you want to catch the attention, you just have to be within the first 24-hour period because no one is watching at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. You're not getting who's watching it then.
Well, the exception is now like with the 6 or the 9 o'clock time frame, which I like better because I can actually watch it and I don't have to wait until all day at work, like being distracted thinking about it, like a psychopath.
And you're welcome there, Daniel. We tried to. I'm glad we were able to entertain you.
Yeah.
What shirt did you get there, Daniel?
What happened? Oh,
he said
he hit up the merch store. Dan, I think within the first 24 hours I announced I had a merch store, Dan was on it. I was
on, Daniel.
I was just fighting with the merch store though, with some emails. So I guess my logo, I need to make it like bigger for them to do like 3D printing on the hat, like 3D puff out embroidery. So I got to go back to the drawing board, probably redo my logo just to make it like I don't know. It's annoying, But it is what it is. It's probably due for an update anyway. I think I did it like 2-3 years ago. So we'll make it look fresher. Still the same. I just got to make it like high res, the lines like a certain spacing and stuff like that. But I'm kind of mad though because I wanted my camo Nerd Mafia trucker hat. That's what I was going to rock during the show. But
I would go.
Now I got the same order as Daniel. I just got the shirt coming.
Right on.
But this actually, I think I said it on stream before. I tried going through like Spring, and they don't have the 3D pop out like embroidery.
What about like TeePublic?
This is what I end up getting. You see, like you see all the stitching. I don't like that. The hat.
What about like TeePublic?
The hat is solid. I ended up going with one called Fourth Wall, and I mean, shout out to them because they no free ads, but I guess I'm using them anyway. At least they stopped, and instead of sending me a crappy product, they actually like even with hey, we can't do it like this to get you the best result. You need to do this and make the changes. So I'll do what I got to do, and it'll work out. Oh, I got some Santa merch right here because I beat him in the last prediction game on his channel. So now he's whooping my ass without even watching the show for mine. It's a little bit heartbreaking. So I'm going to have to make a comeback. I was joking during the last Daredevil stream. I'm going to have to pump in like 20 total questions to give myself a chance to come back.
I find it, what's weird? As I'm getting like, I don't know, I'm doing other things. I'm finding it more and more difficult to, like, I don't know, because I'm trying to connect more with my son and watch more basketball related material as well. So I'm watching a lot of basketball streams. And like, so like it's, yeah, like I watch a lot of Gil's Arena now.
Like, as far as that goes, like I was heavy into, I actually first started like fooling around with YouTube when, I was like really into 2K. So I started off making just like how-to videos. That's how you really get started. You show somebody how to do something, they're going to go to that. Because playing any video game, at some point, you're going to be like, how do I do that? And check it out.
I got 2K up right now.
Yeah, that's how I started messing around. And then like the name Green Bear I used to go by originally. The old school one too. The name Green Bear I got.
I mean, I play it on PS5, but it's 2K20. But yeah.
Yeah, the name I used to go by Green Bear, and the reason was because while I was playing 2K, my name was like Bear. Like I'm a Bears fan, so it was like I think I made it like Bear Down Dad 85 or something like that. People I was playing would just call me Bear, and I'd always be on the defense. I was had a lockdown defender, and I'm sitting in the corner on offense. That's all I'm doing. I'm waiting to grab a rebound. I'm staying out of your way, and if you hit me wide open, I'm hitting a three. And I started getting really good at shooting a three with a 55 overall 3-point rating. So I just get dotted in the corner, and like this one dude I used to play with would be like, "That's Green Bear," like preemptively every time. And then the name just started sticking, and then that's what I went with. And then I got out of the 2K game, and Lord Vito convinced me I should go with something more Italian, so I chose Nerd Mafia. But that's a little short history. Trev's
grab the cannoli.
Yeah.
Grab the cannoli.
I think it was a good move, though. Vito gave me some good advice. Fit my personality a little bit more. But
I actually here. Wait a second. Oh. I don't think I showed you these last time.
We're going live on stream with this. Is this appropriate? Oh, all right.
Yeah, this is fine.
Damn.
Just lost an earphone. That's Invincible 13. Right. There's that first appearance of Battle Beast issue, Invincible 19. That's the first appearance of Anissa.
Damn. She's at 4. She comes at 44. All right, that's gonna be in the book I'm getting.
And then Invincible 2. This is
Invincible, #1
Nice.
from 2003.
CGC. So that's what they send it back to you with, like no matter what, when you go to get it graded, though.
In a hard plastic, just like cards. Like you send cards away too, like baseball cards, hockey cards, basketball cards. There's a 9.9 right here. Adam Eve Battle Damage by Tyler Kirkham.
Damn. It's sick that when you send it to them, they actually grade it up for you too.
Yeah, they grade it.
But like with the pressing and all that.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna send them in, I'm gonna press them just in case there's shit wrong with it anyway. Because I would hate to think I got like a 9.6 or a 9.4, and I didn't press it. And if I pressed it, it would have been like a 9.8. You know what I mean? Like or better.
Yeah.
Like so, I just Let's see some other shit here. It's The Crow Dead Time, signed by the cover artist Miko Swayan.
Jeez.
With certificate of authenticity. Gwen, signed by the cover artist Nathan Zerdy.
Nice.
With certificate of authenticity. That's Starfire. This is Titans 1, signed by the same artist, Nathan Zerdy. Certificate of authenticity. A reprint of X-Men 121, I believe. Signed by Nathan Zerdy and Chris Claremont. Certificate of authenticity. This is a facsimile.
That's sick.
Of Secret Wars #8 with a different cover, signed by Miko Swayan, the artist.
So where do you live again, Trev? Let's see.
Signed by Miko Swayan again. Batman and the Joker there. This is Batman 125 of the newer run. Look at that Darth Vader. Signed. Certificate of authenticity. Carnage #1. Spider-Man with a reflection of Carnage in his eye goggle. Signed. G.I. Joe.
Is that a variant cover? Are these all variant? Or?
Yeah, these are all variant covers. Yeah. By these are exclusive covers by some company, this is like big time collectibles.
Yeah.
They contract artists to do variant covers, right? This is a foil cover. Look at that one.
See, that's the best comic book story, or my favorite with Spider-Man. And why can't they just do it on screen well? You know, the right way. It bothers me so much.
I think I showed you this last week, right? This is that Ultimate Spider-Man 7 variant edition.
Yeah.
Signed by the interior artist Marco Cicchetti.
So you think it'd be better to get it signed by the artist or by the writer?
I'd like to get him signed by both generally, but if I try to get him signed by whoever. Yeah. Absolute Superman 3 signed by cover artist. Certificate. These two things right here. These are 40th anniversary Transformers issues that just came out somewhat recently. It's a foil Autobot and a foil Decepticon. I want to get them signed by Frank Welker and Peter, whatever. What's his name? Peter, the guy who voices Optimus Prime. Peter, I can't think of his last name right now, but
I can't think of anybody's name tonight, man.
This is shit I haven't sorted through yet that I just recently got, right? So
crazy.
It is. Look at this fucking issue. Let me see here. Look at these. Look at that issue. It's 80s Optimus Prime Miami.
Optimus Prime GTA.
Yeah.
My city. All right, man. We reached the 1.5 hour mark.
There you go. We did it.
And I'm tired. Daniel Fisher's tired too. His thumbs are tired from typing. So, what do we got? Daredevil next week. You gonna catch up on Andor? You ready for that?
I gotta get through Burn Notice, and then maybe I gotta watch Yellowstone eventually too. So
yeah, I mean, what do you got? Like a couple.
Dude,
weeks
there's so much. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, there's so much content. Like I said, like I'm watching stuff from.
Dude, this is the summer of
10 years ago, because I'm trying to catch up on it. Right? Like it's crazy.
Summer of nerd though. Like the stuff coming out right now is. I can't remember a time where it was like actually going to be this good too. Like proven.
Why? Because Fantastic Four is coming out.
Oh, not even getting into the movies. Just like the shows right now, like back to back, Daredevil, Andor, and then Last of Us. Like,
There's something else coming out in between that. You know that, right?
What am I missing?
Ironheart.
Son of a bitch. Is that no? That's after it. It's June.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Andor's coming up right after Daredevil. That's going to be in April.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we don't know. That's 50-50. We don't know if that's going to be good. They keep pushing it off. Who knows? But these 3 shows in succession, they're all like proven commodities for the most part.
Last of Us doesn't come out till like September, though, right?
No, it comes out right after. They just put out something today. Actually, I think I posted on my page.
It comes out like in like June, July.
I'll tell you a second.
I thought it came out in September.
I literally just did a community post. April 13th.
Really? Wow.
That's what I'm saying. Like we go back to back, this Andor that. So catch up on Andor because I'm going to be pulling you on stream. Andor's getting a little bit different.
Maybe you should co-stream with Santa. Say, hey Santa, bring. I'll try. I can try too though, but.
Oh, he always like. For a while, he was letting me. Because I know he doesn't want to stream at night, like he's in bed. But if I let him know, like, hey, jump on for the finale, him and Sheev will come do it. And that's like, those are awesome discussions. I love doing that. I
haven't seen Sheev in a while. How's he doing?
I'm not sure. I haven't talked to him in a minute either. I know he was coming.
Wasn't he like in an accident or something? Like something shitty happened to him like a year or 2 ago, right?
Real bad one. On his way to Vegas. I'm not sure he hasn't. I don't think he's done much with his channel lately either. I know he's working with Star Wars Obsession too, like in real life. So no idea, man. Andor, I'll be jumping on Obsession show probably here and there as well. I don't know.
You know what? I'll try to watch the rest of season 1 eventually. Like, well, I'll try to. You know what? Comes out. When does it come out? April.
No, so it's gonna be. We got 3 episodes, and then we got a 2-episode finale, I think, for Daredevil. So you got 5, 6. We only got 3 more weeks of Daredevil, and then I think Andor comes out in that last week.
Okay,
it like overlaps by 3 weeks.
I'll force myself to watch.
To
get through the 6th episode by the end of this weekend. I'll force myself to watch.
You're through the hardest part to watch. Like it just keeps getting better after that. I swear, it gets way better after. Bro, help me out there. After the first 3 episodes of Andor, it's like it just takes off. Like,
okay,
because when they originally released it, they dropped the first 3 episodes first to get them out of the way. Like it was just world building, and then you go. I'm telling you,
sometimes it's tough to get through that world building though. Like it's tough. Like I've had the same problem with so many shows where like I've had to force myself to get through those first handful of episodes. Like even Breaking Bad, right? Like Breaking Bad doesn't pick up until that episode where he fucking breaks the crystal on Tuco's desk. And then you're like, holy fuck.
I watched it late, like way late, and I was locked in from like the first episode.
I was like, I had a hard time watching it until that episode, and then that episode happened, and I was like, I'm in.
Nah, you gotta power through. That's gonna be different, like way different than anything we're watching though, because the way they're gonna drop Andor for season 2 is each week is gonna be 3 episodes at a time.
Yeah, because it's like a 3-episode arc. I remember. I think I read something like that, right?
Yeah.
Each 3 episodes like is an arc on its own kind of thing.
Each 3-episode arc is a year, so they're gonna, and it's the last season. He was only doing 2, so it should be a lot of fun. I don't know how I'm gonna cover that. It's gonna be a long ass stream afterwards, even the same little system I'm going through. I'm gonna have to cut out some of the screenshots, maybe, but.
Yeah, well, I would say I would just maybe like kind of just.
Or maybe the window's got to be larger for that too, because expecting people to catch up on 3 episodes. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I wait till like a Monday afterwards or something. Give people time.
Sure.
That might be the move. I don't know. We'll talk off screen about it. Let's get the hell out of here. You know what? We're done, everybody. We're done. You got everything we could give you, and we're done. Okay? We're done.
Nerd Mafia, forget about it. We run laps in 12 parsecs, maybe less, and done flat. A good fella here to bless them all with fun facts.
Leave the gun. Technical knowledge.